My name is Ronnie Strickland. You may know me as Cuz. Now, I've been with Mossy Oak since the beginning. And yes, it's a great job, if you can call it a job. The best part, other than getting to hunt all the time and call it work, is the people. From Toxie Hays, the founder, to everyone at Mossy Oak, and hunters in general, man, they just get it. It being the real reason we do this. It's not the big antlers or long beards or getting your limit every time. It's way more than that.
Hey, come here. Man, hey, the monkey is gone, man. The monkey is gone.
Toxie Hays. You know, even his first name is an indication that this fella is just a little bit different. Known to most outdoor enthusiasts as the founder or originator of Mossy Oak Camouflage, he is indeed a different type person, but, you know, different in a good way. Now, I've been lucky enough to see Toxie steer the Mossy Oak ship since it was one pattern and his desk was a piece of plywood sitting on an old air conditioner on the floor. Things have certainly changed over the past 25 years or so, but what has remained the same is Toxie's attitude.
Toxie is, you know, they really broke the mold on him. I've never really met anybody that's built quite like he is. He's a visionary, a leader, very concerned about the people. You know, he doesn't consider the business the money, he considers the business the people and the partners, and how much he cares about those and puts himself in those positions.
Ben Franklin had a saying that says, well done is better than well said. And in a lot of ways, Toxie exemplifies that by the way he goes about his daily business in terms of leading other people. But he does it in a little bit different way in that he is very comfortable with who he is and what he feels like he should do in life, which, as I said earlier, is to make other people better, to put people in a position to fulfill who they are. But he empowers people to do that.
The things that drove him back then are the same things that drive him today. As far as the Mossy Oak Camouflage, it's always been about the desire to be invisible in the woods. That desire came from following his dad, Mr. Fox, around chasing turkeys as a young boy.
Oh me, my earliest memory of hunting with Mr. Fox.
He was a pretty active young fella. Of course, I belonged to a hunting club down in South Alabama, and so I always looked for an excuse to get off on the weekends. And his mama used to always tell me, said, if you'll take Toxie, you can go to this weekend. So naturally, by necessity, we got to be big buddies.
I can remember in my mind going through the Pretty Woods. It's probably squirrel hunting.
Anyway, he was about 6 when I first started taking him, and we'd go squirrel hunting, make a lot of racket.
Shut up, son.
Going through the woods.
Be still.
When we first started hunting in earnest, when he was about 8 or 9 years old, we'd walk through the woods going somewhere, and I said, son, pick up your feet.
Pick your feet up.
You're making too much noise.
Watch where you step.
Hurry up.
Take your time.
Come on.
Don't step on any sticks.
Well, now it's the other way around. He said, Daddy, you making too darn much noise. Can't you pick your feet up and do better than that? So the worm turned in the last 45 years.
I would follow behind him, and every place he stepped, I would step. So I quit even looking ahead. I was just watching his feet. And where he stepped, I stepped, and that's a little game I played. Because if he'd already stepped there, then he'd pick his spot, and if there was a stick to crack, he'd already cracked it. So I had this little game. I had to always be quieter than him walking in the woods. And It really started back in those first days when I followed behind him in the woods and I was pretending to be completely quiet, and we hid in the blind, and your intent was to be invisible. In real terms, the honest truth is the things that matter have not changed. And the people and the land and the critters and the relationships and what we share, and actually more importantly what we give and what we give back, is more important than it's ever been. If that's the case, it's even more mindful to be adaptable and flexible and have your ear to the ground every day to your consumer, who is who we are a servant to at the end of the day here.
Inside the Obsession is brought to you by Ram Truck Brand, Precision Shooting Equipment, Lethal, and Mossy Oak.
Yeah. Him. Not them. Oh, he ain't for it all. I wish he'd gobble some more. A little farther, I think. They're coming on that yard. They're coming on that yard. They're not far. No, he's like max 150.
Anytime that I just get to go hunting with my dad, Mr. Fox, it's special. But I always kind of want it. Sometimes, and I think that's the way in sports too, is that you try too hard. And especially hunting, I think sometimes you just go, it happens. And sometimes when you try too hard, I know when I have guests in, I'll spend a week in advance trying to get everything just right, and it never seems to happen. And sometimes when you just go, that's the way I feel about it with Daddy. I just want it so bad. I want to be sure that we've got all our homework done. I went out and roosted one, we've listened, we've stayed out of an area.
He won't spook from it unless we're calling. He pay no hardly any attention to it, but if we're calling here. He says he can hear a turkey drumming. I know I hear a turkey drumming.
Mark Drury and I go way, way back. From the very first days of Mossy Oak. Literally, not much, when Bob Dixon and Cuz first came on board with me and Bill at the company, there was Mark Drury. He was 19 years old. I met him at a calling contest when he was 19. He actually asked me if he could come stay at my house during his spring break in school and just hang out, because he always wanted to work in the hunting industry and he just wanted to hang out and help. And we became close friends way back then. I wasn't 26 or 7 years old. And so I think sometimes people have wondered, they shouldn't wonder, but they wondered why I and Mossy Oak are so loyal to Mark and Terry. And they wonder why Mark Drury is so loyal to Mossy Oak, is that they just don't understand. It's like family. It really is family. It goes back from the very origins of Mossy Oak for both of us. We literally have not turkey hunted together in 10 years, and we used to do it every year. Last spring, I actually met him somewhere, and we got to yelp together for the first time in years, and we swore we would not let another spring, the rest of our springs go by without at least hunting together. At least one time a spring from now on until they put us in a pine box. We made a promise. This last year, we actually went twice. He came to see me. I went up there to see him. But when he came down, I was, as usual, so worried about the goblin being just right and, saving a spot for him when he got here. And he gets there and he says, "No, I'm not going. I'm going to call for someone." And I said, "Well," he said, "who do you want to take?" He said, "You and I'll just call for him." I said, "Well, I tell you who I want to take. I want to take Mr. Fox." And he just said, "Absolutely."
There's a closer bird. It's full of birds they're out there, a bunch of them. If we could get to that little, like multi-buddy tree, we could take it that way. I mean, even if you have to sit on one of these short pines, we'll back it up really slow. Daddy, this is a lot better cushion than what you got, if you want it or not. It does not matter. Just take your time and try not to make any rain.
It turned out to be, Daddy's a great woodsman. He taught me, and he knows more than I'll ever know about a lot of things in the woods. But at 82, he's just not as mobile. So it's tough. I mean, he is as good. He sits more still. He understands the patience it takes better than anybody. But as you know, turkey hunting, being mobile is a part of it too. So once we get on a turkey and sit down, you're there. You're not there's no getting up and moving around. Once he's down, we're there. And so it's not as easy as it once was. So he had killed one turkey with me this spring, and that was it. And so Mark and I, you know, took it as a challenge. We hunted at daylight. We got on a turkey. It didn't work. We got on a turkey. It didn't work. And so we had gotten up in the morning a little bit, and we struck a turkey, and he was close, and he was hot. And so we dug in, and Mark got behind Daddy, and Rusty was filming. And I was 50 yards in a different direction. We're kind of behind him like this. And just as God would have it, this turkey turned inside out.
Mr. Fox is now ready. Tell Toxie to call. Toxie's like 50, 60 yards back that way. I'm maybe 10 for Mr. Fox. I see him now.
You know, I really have gotten to the point where I just adore being a gamekeeper. And taking care of the property and raising the wildlife and, you know, planting trees and you know, making God's earth better than I found it. I love killing stuff, but at the same time, I love caring for the place and taking other people more. Turkey hunting is that one special, still got a selfish bone in my body. I would not have fun if I didn't hunt with my buddies a lot of times. But I still gotta, it's the one thing where I still gotta paint up and go to war, kind of me versus them. So it's the one time in the spring. But there's still nothing better than watching Mr. Fox pull the trigger on one, because he's the one that gave all this to me to start with. What's so cool about it, I have called up and killed a ton of turkeys with my dad for, you know, 40 years or more. But this was so cool about this one is he hasn't been filmed much. I think maybe one other time in the history of Mossy Oak is someone actually captured a turkey hunt with Mr. Fox and him killing one. But this turkey showed up down an old, you know, log road, literally. And he's in the sun, he's in the wide open road, and he's 25 yards, and Daddy can't see him. But Rusty can in the wide open. So for 10 to 12 minutes, it seemed like longer, this turkey's absolutely blowing it out at point blank, and Mr. Fox can't get a shot.
Eddie. I wasn't very excited.
Be patient.
Oh, Mr. Fun.
Look at this thing.
That is one of the greatest pleasures I've ever had in a turkey.
Man, that's fantastic.
Everybody, Papa.
Ah, damn, good, damn. Oh, I love it.
One lesson you can learn from my dad is that no matter how long, if you do what you love, it'll never get old, because to this day, he gets even more excited and more out of breath and more flustered than he did, 40 or 50 years ago. I added up, I think he's been turkey hunting now 68 years now, and I don't think there's many people in all of America that can say that right now. And he gets more excited today. And I think there's a little bit of a life lesson in that, is do what you love and you never really feel like you're working. You know what, one of the magic things about Cuz, he says, I never felt like I had a job because I love what I do so much. And I think that's a testament to doing what you do. Daddy gets so excited about turkey hunting, it will never get old.
No matter what is happening at work, nothing takes priority over family, be it his own family or the rather large Mossy Oak family. I could talk for hours on examples of this, just in my personal life and my years at Mossy Oak, but anyone that works for Mossy Oak could do the same.
You know, Toxie has a saying that what we do is to make your life in the outdoors better. Well, he does that first and foremost with his family, and has all these many, many years. And I think you can see it reflected in the core values that Daniel and Neil and Sir Francis and everybody in his family have. His family is near and dear to him. The relationship with his dad I don't know that it could have gotten stronger, but it seems to have gotten stronger through the years. And the outdoor is the common bond for that relationship.
Inside the Obsession is also brought to you by Remington Arms and Ammunition, Mossy Oak, Scott Archery, Schwacker Broadheads, and Come Here, Deer.
You know, I'm a homeboy, spend a lot of time at home, hunt mostly at home. I enjoy that more. We're kind of busy here, so I don't get away much. But my sons, they love the adventure. They want to go on a trip. And, you know, like Santa Cuz does, he has his bag of tricks, and he has plenty of good places around the country. He called and said, I've got a trip. You're going. Won't take no for an answer. Great place, great friends, great people in Nebraska.
My dad asked me, you're gonna have time to get away from school to go out to Nebraska and go turkey hunting? I didn't have to think twice about that. Yes, sir, I'll find a way to make some time.
It's the first time I'd ever gotten a chance to go hunting and turkey hunting in May. And I was all excited going to hunt a different kind of turkey.
The great thing about hunting in May, if you're from the deep south, is that you get to go back in time 4 to 6 weeks as our season's over. And that was really kind of, you know, a dessert for us. And getting to see completely different country. I mean, the last 15 miles before we got to this place, literally, we did not see a tree.
And we get out there, we're in the rental car, and I'm asking my dad, I'm like, you know, where is this place? I mean, because I'm looking around and I can just see for miles, you know, there's like a shrub here and there, and I don't see any tall trees. And I mean, I don't know what we're gonna be doing.
I was like, there's no way there's turkeys out here. I didn't believe it. You know, we finally got to Nebraska Trophy Bucks and Birds. I told the guys, I was like, there's really turkeys out here. And they were like, just wait, you know, get your gun ready.
We had our clothes on, you know, a couple minutes later we were flying out the door.
Now there's some birds in the woods about 200 yards in front of us. We're gonna set up right here. We got mom, dad, brother back behind us. Got that little bit calling. See if we can't get them to come over here.
I didn't think we even had time to hunt, but they were on it. They were ready for us. Immediately got us on birds. Now it's sight out there because there's so much open country.
We set up on the edge of a field. We had some big timber behind us. I had Dad and Neil behind me calling.
And we sat there for probably, you know, an hour or two and nothing. And everybody was about to get up, we're about to go home. And I looked up and I said, hey, there's some turkeys.
And that's all we needed to give us a little bit of hope. We saw the hen come over the hill. And then next thing you know, it happened so fast. A couple gobblers are walking over the hill, and my heart starts pounding. the turkeys were finally coming. This was gonna be the moment I was finally gonna get this, you know, this Nebraska turkey. They finally got close enough to shoot. Neil cut real sharp one time.
And it was dead silent, and we could hear it as clear as a bell from 60 yards. Neil and I heard, clank.
Didn't even have a shell loaded into my gun.
Oh my God.
And of course, all the turkeys had their heads up, and I think he's scared to move. And lo and behold, Neil had the presence. He just starts calling.
Daniel's up there trying to get another shell in. The turkeys are getting spooky, so I start cutting at them.
Can I shoot?
Luckily, the turkey didn't run off. It stayed put, thanks to Neil. I thought I'd blown it, and really, as much as any turkey I've ever killed, that felt like a team effort.
Heard that click?
Hey,
great shot.
Nice decoy placement.
That worked good.
Wow.
Hold him up there. Let me see him. Spread that fan out.
Yeah, once that hen started clucking a little bit, I thought you were going to draw them all in.
Boy, that is beautiful. That's his first one.
This spring was a grand slam for me because both boys and my dad, whenever I can go through a spring and be with them, I don't have to shoot one, but be with them when they kill one. That's my grand slam every spring. To be able to be with my two sons and my dad, that's the cream of the crop for me, and this was a great spring in that regard.
I saw one up in the tree.
You saw a deer or a turkey in the tree?
I saw a deer in the tree.
You saw a deer? I thought you did.